So today we have Forrest Claudette here with us at IMPRINT Entertainment. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So were you initially born in Australia, in Victoria, Australia?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, I
so
grew up out there.
how was it growing up out there?
It was cool. I think, you know, as it was happening, I didn't really know anything different. Like, we'd come over to the States and see my cousins and see like my aunties and my nana and my granddad when he was around. Um, Especially when I was young, I got two older brothers. So we'd like go back and forth like holiday periods and stuff. Um, but we didn't really like explore. Like everything was just like, like go see family, go. Um, so like it was very beautiful, super green. But I'd say probably like kind of isolating from like blackness in
Okay,
retrospect.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And so what brought about the relocation to the States?
I haven't actually moved yet. I'm just here like working.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
Okay.
thinking probably gonna move like next year.
Okay. And do you have it like a state in mind? New York, California,
Oh, I'd be in LA.
in LA?
That's where my partner is. That's where my team is. So
Okay, nice, nice. Okay, so
yeah.
your parents were musicians. So how was that being
Hmm.
around music coming up as a child?
It was awesome. I mean, so like, my dad, both my parents classically trained musicians have played like professionally around the world. But my dad for the past like 30 or something years was like the principal bass player for the MSO. Um, and like mom tells me that like she couldn't take me anymore. Like when I was really little, she tried taking me, but apparently I would just cry at anything slow,
Mhm.
like just erupt, which is like,
Yeah.
I find that ironic because I love slow music now and I love anything that is like chilled and like puts out an energy of just like calming. So yeah, but as far as like having parents and a family, like growing up around music, it definitely made it easy to see that as like a career path and just like seeing that that could be something that I do, even though like my parents in the classical space. One of my older brothers and my manager, or one of my managers, is in a band and like started that straight out of high school, um, called Northeast Party House, and so I got to see like contemporary music being like a career, and like I've seen that grow and develop over time, and it's crazy how like it's just really interesting to be able to see like the way people engage with that and grow up with music and kind of stay fans, like you know what I mean.
Hmm.
But yeah, so I always saw music being something that I could do, which I'm really grateful for.
Okay, awesome. And so
Yeah.
who are you currently influenced by in the music industry or just in your career in your career period?
Well, it's funny. I feel like I was talking to a friend about this recently, just like how the things that I'm inspired by aren't necessarily what I'm influenced by. Because I feel like I'm probably influenced by everything. Like I listen to a lot of music, a lot of different types of music. Um, we were just like listening on repeat. I'm in the car right now, my partner. Heading to a session, but we were just listening to Saba's album from last year.
Yeah, that's
Like amazing. Just like I'd say like the people that inspire me are like Brittany Howard, Little Sims, No Name, Solange, Frank Ocean. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
those cats. Well, it's everyone. People that are like doing like what they do to their best and also like authentically so. Like you can tell that that's them. Like I always feel like Tyler the Creator's transition. I feel like you could see him coming into himself. I thought that was a really beautiful thing to like witness as like as an audience.
Yeah, yeah. That
So
is
that's the stuff that inspires me.
okay. And so one of your singles, "Mess Around," which features Earth Gang,
Yeah.
how was it collaborating on that project? And being a newer artist, did you learn anything
Mm.
from the collaboration?
A little bit. Like I wish it was one of those situations where we were all in the studio together and we're talking about it and figuring it out, but not the case, unfortunately. I was back home. But I got to talk to them on the phone and just like kind of like text back and forth, sorting out verses and whatever. And it was really cool. Like they were so calm and so chill and so happy to like kind of aid in any way they could toward the vision that I was seeing. Like if they still like, I don't know, like they're pretty big deal, especially to me. Like, so for them to come in and still be like, yeah, this is your thing. Like we're just trying to like support it. Like that was really cool. So I feel like, yeah, I'll take that away if ever I get the chance to feature on someone else's stuff.
Okay. And how did that feature come about?
Um, corporate,
Yeah.
like my my team, or there was like a listening party or something because the song was like kind of it was finished to like what we thought. And the only feedback was that it'd be cool to like bring it in a different voice just for the second half. And I'm so glad that we did. Someone said to me the other day because they were like looking at, I was like a new friend or whatever. And they were looking like, oh, Earth Gang? And I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, that happened. Like, it's not really real.
It's like surreal. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But it was very, it's very cool. It's a very cool thing.
That's awesome. Okay, and so how was your experience signing with Warner Records?
It was crazy, to be honest.
Did you come
it happened very quickly. Say again?
Did you come to the States for that, or?
Yeah, I flew up. We flew up to LA for 4 days. I was like looking at different labels back home, and we were in like the middle of talking, and my lawyer hadn't actually like heard the music, and he just like sent it to some people that he knew. We were like, oh yeah, you can hear the music. And then one of the people that heard it were at Warner, reached out and like, don't do anything, I'm flying you out. I came out, I met Aaron and like the team and played them, a couple of songs acoustically, and they're like, sick, sounds good, let's do it. Yeah, it was a whirlwind for sure. And that was a while ago too. I feel like I was a kid then.
And what year was
all grown up now?
What year was that exactly?
I actually don't remember.
Oh, okay.
It might have been 2019.
Okay.
It might have been 28. It can't have been 2018.
Okay.
2020? When did COVID happen?
Yeah, 2020. Early 2020.
Okay, then yeah, it had to be 2019.
Okay.
Time isn't real. Don't worry about it.
And so you recently released a new single, 2 Years, along with the video.
Yeah.
How was it working on that project, and what was the inspiration behind the video?
Working on that project was awesome. I mean, it felt super important to write that song. It was about like past relationship, and just, it was kind of the last thing I had to say, at the time, like coming out of that and kind of healing, figuring out how I felt. So like as far as the songwriting process, I was working with like Gabrielle, shout out Gabe, and Jace, wicked producer. And we just kind of created a space where I felt comfortable kind of like talking about that stuff. But then for the visuals, I was working with Grey Ghost, Jeremy Cohen, Corin? I don't know his last name very well, but the same director that I worked with on my first video, and we've been working across this whole project, shooting videos, which has been really cool. But the inspiration was just like this idea of like duality of like the two lives that I could have had. Like when you feel like there are those moments in life where you make a decision, it's like everything splits. It's like, oh, that could have been this.
Yeah.
So I think we were trying to capture that feeling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So your EP, Everything Was Green, has a release date of June 16th. You look very excited about that.
I am very excited about that.
Awesome.
I'm very proud of this project.
So what can you tell us about the project in regards to inspiration, purpose, creative process?
I feel like it's, oh man, that's tricky. I'm like so excited but don't know how to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's just like in the next phase, I guess, of my life. Like the year in February felt like capturing the past, and this is a bit more current. Like this is, up until last year, everything I was kind of figuring out and learning. And I feel like the title comes from, well, actually my partner said it and I was like, that's so cool. Wait. But everything was green is like, I grew up in like this safety net, but also like kind of hidden, like in this forest. I grew up in the forest back home, like an hour from the city.
Okay.
And so everything was green. And it's like everything was green is about leaving that space and coming to LA and kind of learning a lot more about myself and starting to figure out how I want to move in this world a bit differently. And just like the different kind of phases I had to go through or I have been through, the kind of cycle in life, or like at least in my life, like these themes kind of keep cropping up. But yeah, like capturing a cycle
Okay.
and what it means to like leave that safety net and that familiarity. Yeah, something like that.
And so we can't expect that album coming out again June 16th. What else can we expect from what else can we expect from you over the next year? Will you be touring once after the release date or?
Yeah, I mean, I was excited. I had a couple of shows lined up, but unfortunately those have fallen through. But I think we're working on some other stuff out here. But in the meantime, yeah, I'm playing a few festivals back home.
Okay. Which festival?
Playing,
Which festival?
I'm playing Splendor in the Grass, and I actually don't know what the other one's called. I'm not sure if it's even like announced yet. But I'm also like touring with some cats. I'm touring with Last Things when I get back home.
Okay.
And just finished a tour with Rule. Like, yeah, touring is starting to happen. It's really cool. It's very different. Going from like touring mode into writing mode is like, you got to like squeeze through a different box. Like the shape's all different.
And how do you?
It's really cool.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I was gonna ask, how do you enjoy touring? Like speaking of how different it is from, it's a different mindset and everything.
Yeah.
From sitting in the studio writing.
I feel like I've been very, very fortunate with with the shows that I've been able to play so far. Like everyone has been so kind, and there's always like at least a few people in the crowd that know the lyrics to like a handful of songs, which is still crazy to me. And it's just, yeah, I don't know, to be able to like see the music that I made so personally and kind of like wonder if anyone will connect with this or if this like means anything. And then seeing people kind of take ownership of it and get messages from people being like, oh, this made me think of this, like this scenario in my life. Like it's been really cool to be able to see that connection and feel that in real life. And playing with my band or playing by myself, it's just, yeah, it's really cool to connect with the people that are into it.
What are you currently listening to on your playlist? Who are you currently listening to?
Okay, well, Saba right now.
Yeah. Mentioned a few earlier, yes.
Yeah, I guess those few people I've been listening to a lot. Yeah, I just got back into No Name's like Telephone album because I don't know why. I just like, I describe things as like cup or like cuppable, where they just kind of like hold you in like a small, like the palm of someone's hand. And that's how I feel about that. But also, I've been listening to a lot of Al Green. I've been listening to Al Green's like So Tired of Being Alone from like, I don't know, maybe the 70s, which is just like such an expressive album. I listen to albums. I don't really listen to playlists too much. But yeah, and also like Loyal Kana drips in every now and then as well.
Okay.
But I always try to keep an ear out for like when new things drop, even though I'm late to this Saba album, which is kind of sad, but it's cool. Better late than never.
Yeah, he's a good one. He's a good one.
Yeah.
So what message do you want your fans to receive from your music?
I think going forward, it'd be really cool if the message that people took away was like accepting like the different things that you go through as a person and just like holding that space for yourself and like feeling comfortable in your skin and maybe like, trying to be aware of like what you are doing and what you like and amplifying that. And maybe like not feeling like so alone in like certain experiences of like feeling like, disconnected from yourself. Yeah.
And is there anything you would like to share with the go-getters and the dream chasers out there that are still pursuing and out there hungry, trying to make it?
Oh man, I don't feel qualified to say anything yet. I feel like I'm still figuring stuff out. But I
Well,
guess
I
that,
mean, even the what you have learned thus far can help someone
yeah,
just starting, So any
I
knowledge.
think the best piece of advice that I got, I think, until now was just like to match that kind of nervousness energy or like the insecure energy. Instead of holding on to that, you could instead like just really appreciate like everyone around you that's like putting positive stuff into what you're making. So if like people are connecting with things, instead of being like, oh fuck, I don't know if that's real, like just take it at face value and be like, cool, some people really connect with it and I really appreciate that. And I think it feels better and it kind of quells that energy. So that's what I've been trying to practice. Just like really like always being like, oh wow, this is amazing that I get to do this. Like when I'm feeling overwhelmed, like little things that I have to do, posting here or doing that. It's like, oh wait, this is what I'm working towards. And I'm really like, this is special that I get to do what I get to do. And like surrounding yourself with good people. That's always important.
Very important.
Yeah.
Thank you, Forrest Claudette, for taking the time out to speak with us here at Imprint Entertainment. We really appreciate it.
No, thank you so much for having me. Hey, this is Forrest Claudette with Imprint Entertainment.